Shout out to homies. Snapbacks N Fittedcaps. Sponsors. What up, Keith? Snapbacks N Fittedcaps. Mike. AP. Dre. Snapbacks N Fittedcaps. And my homie Mitch. What it do?
Yo, we back with another edition of Snapbacks and Fittedcaps. I got my bros.
What's going on, man?
What's up, Dre? How you been, man?
California, San Diego with the new Padres cap fitted. Out here repping, man. Fresh off Independence Day, by the way.
What up with you, KP? How you been,
man? You know, I had to tell my mom on y'all. I don't like how y'all was doing me the last.
He did snitch.
Yeah, she was like, "Where was my baby? I ain't seen you on the last."
Damn.
I said, "Low key, they tried to vote me out of that thing."
You tell her it was your fault. You let her know it was your fault.
Out of it. Dre hung up on me. Mike was giving me the silent
wait.
Mitch started the whole thing. You know. They was like, what about Keith? What Keith? I said, Keith, he a solid dude.
So,
he ain't gonna try to jump.
So we're not solid.
Yeah, so we got our boy Mike with us. Mike, what's up with you? I see
I already knew it was gonna be some action on this thing today, man. I already knew that KP coming back. We done went through July 4th. People call it Independence Day. And I just came ready to talk about some shit. So I ain't in the mood for a snapback or a fitted cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
so you came ready for
you
war.
You ain't in the mood for none of that. Hey, first of all, I feel you, Mike. I like that energy. I love that energy. But hey, it's your boy Mitch. First of all, I want to let KP mom know we had nothing to do with that. KP was on a 2-week strike for some reason.
She ran up on me too, asking about
Snapback caps. That nigga went on a silent strike on us, bro. But it's all good. But nah, it's your boy Money Making Mitch, man. I got the.
You got that one.
I told you I had the hat kind of like yours, Mike.
Won't borrow no hat for
I borrowed it from Mike. It's a fitted.
Dre tried to sneak that in there. Won't borrow no hats around here.
Nah, I got the little Arizona Diamondback. What'd you say?
Mike is an elitist.
Woo! It's a lot of animosity.
No.
Hey, we just gonna get into it, man, because it seems like Mike got a lot of going on in his mind. What you got on your mind, brother? What's popping?
I always got a lot on my mind, man. I always got a lot on my mind. People out here celebrating Independence Day, and I mean, everybody wasn't free, at the same time. So, I mean, it's still. I'll say it like this: I ain't judging nobody.
Had a ball.
But put it in perspective is all I ask. Just put it in perspective. I went out. I actually went out. So I ain't judging nobody.
I read an article, man, that kind of changed my perspective on 4th of July. I seen that during that war, when we're fighting England, that we like black people played a major part in that.
Black people played a major part in a lot of wars and stuff like that. Man.
Oh, for sure.
I didn't say that.
So why can't we celebrate Independence Day when we didn't put in work
we understand
for so many years?
Go ahead.
What? I was gonna say, what perspective should we put it in, brother?
You can take the tone out your voice. Nah, I think you can celebrate both. I said that in the beginning, but I just think that we need to understand where we stood at that time. Yeah, we put a lot of work in, and it's even worse. We put a lot of work in, and we weren't even considered a man or a woman at that time. So just something that I think people should think about when they because there's a lot of people just blindly celebrate, and I think you really need to put some thought into what you actually put your energy into. But
I mean, for me, I don't think that people I mean, I could say for me because my family celebrates. We get together during the 4th of July. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think nobody came in and it was like, "Happy 4th of July! It's nice to see you." Huh? Like, no, it was just we all vibing, we all eating, having some good food. The kids out there, enjoying enjoying their time and whatnot. So I don't think it's like on the level of like Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas or something like that. It just be on some, hey, it's a great time everybody's off. It's a great time to get together, have some good food, be around people that you
Now,
enjoy
I
being
think some
around,
people actually say
drink,
Happy Fourth.
So I don't.
I definitely say Happy 4th a couple times. Happy 4th of July.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Yeah. I said it. I was saying it to Marcus mostly.
Oh, okay.
I did.
You sending out text
actually made a
messages
couple
saying Happy
posts.
4th of July?
On people. I know my sister. She specifically put a message up and said, "Don't text me or hit me up saying Happy 4th of July." So I was like, man, y'all niggas will stay mad. Happy 4th of July though. I mean, so this is my thing. This is my thing. Y'all say what y'all want to say. At the end of the day, I'm an American. Granted, I understand that slaves weren't free when America got their independence. But if that don't happen, I'm not where I'm at right now. I might be in the hills of Terralingua or in some over there in Africa. Not saying it's a bad thing, but I like where I'm at right now. So without that happening, I'm not where I'm at right now. I appreciate the suffrage that my ancestors go to. I don't forsake what they went through. I still understand that it was a definitely a disservice to our people in a whole. But it happened. A lot of y'all too
Drake
woke for
said,
that.
y'all niggas is
I
too
just got a
woke,
question,
man.
and how far does it go in regards to recognizing
Niggas
like
is too
what
woke.
it's there for? Because the same thing that you feel about the 4th of July, the same thing could be said about the military.
And that's another thing that I don't really. That's another thing that why I don't really split hairs with it, because all right, so the national anthem, the second and third verse is about slavery. The flag, the origination of it derived. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely slave. But when I was in uniform, I was still saluting. I was still standing up, standing at attention every time it came on. We still folding flags. You know what I'm saying? We still showing respect, reveille, and retreat, and all that stuff. So it's. I'm not finna now that I'm out be like
I think
super. I'm black, y'all. I'm black.
yeah.
I've been black. I love my black people, but I love the white people in my life too. So
So
I'm not finna. Hey, Independence Day,
I
Juneteenth, I
so
love it all.
to answer
Everybody
your
independent.
question, I don't think you gotta have one without the other. I think you do both. So that's why I said in the beginning, you could celebrate both. And I think that it's a good thing that Dre is saying the things that he's thinking about when he's celebrating them, at least. That's all I'm saying. Just have an understanding of what it was really like, possibly for our ancestors when they was celebrating Independence Day and they weren't actually free. And just understanding that. I'm not saying you can't go out there and barbecue. You do what you want to do. I don't have no issue with that. Yeah, that's it. Just know, you know.
You saying know your history.
Otherwise, why? Otherwise, why do it? Why do it on the 4th of July? Just do that shit on the
I think that's
weekend.
on the
You can do
parents
all that
though.
stuff you just named on a regular weekend.
I think that's on the family though. I think that's on the family to let everybody know what we celebrating for, what we coming together. Like KP said, his family just came together because they just wanted to be in each other's presence and enjoy each other's company. And it's probably been something that y'all been doing for a while, so it's just a vibe. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I think we should have those discussions though when we are together. Though we should talk about our history. And we should let the youngins know, like, this is what was going on around this time. This is what this is where we've came. Because I think the youngins really don't know the history as well as we do. At least we can say we know the history, but the younger generation, they don't know the history unless that shit is on a TikTok or a social media page. They're not really grasping it. And I think they need to hear from us and at least tell the stories. You know what I'm saying? And that way, you know, you kind of doing everything. You enjoying each other,
They
but
taking
you
that
also
stuff
giving
away
them
from
knowledge.
schools, bro. Like they try to make sure they erasing all of that stuff, man. Like I think y'all was talking about it a couple pods ago. They taking that stuff out, man. They want to be able to regauge people's mind in regards to like the past and stuff like that. And I mean, ultimately, it falls on the parents. You got to teach your kids, and that's something that I do. Even when we talking about how I brought up, just the army. And the same thing could be said about the military. I had my son sit down. I actually told y'all about that movie that I seen. Well, old boy from Empire. It was about the black, about the all black union, the all black company in Texas that they had that. What's the name of that movie? I'm gonna look
I
it up for
remember
you.
you talking about that.
Yeah, and that's a true story. You know what I'm saying? And then it was an all black company trying to get out there, and then they was fighting with the locals. The white locals didn't like the fact that they was in their town, and so you know I got a lot of pushback when I got into the army. You know what I'm saying, from family. And they was like, "Why you want to go there? They don't care about. I don't care about you. Black man ain't got no place in a white man's army. You know what I'm saying?" And once I came back, and even when I was in, they was like, "Okay, that it's not that bad." You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people have, and then I also experienced a lot of racism in the army. You know what I'm saying? Like a ton of it. You think them cats ain't calling you niggas and saying shit? They do. They do. So it's all about what you take from it. From me, and 4th of July is just another day for me. I ain't telling nobody Happy 4th, but hey, come over to the crib. We gonna have fun. We gonna eat well. We gonna drink. And we're gonna get to this money, because we have money games and all types of stuff. So it's not like we putting on a damn 4th of July movie and sitting back and watching, war movies and stuff like that. It ain't nothing like that. So
Man, I think Independence Day, man, it's just I think niggas is too woke right now. Like I remember being a kid and just really enjoying 4th of July. Like we were never none of this like, oh no, you can't be celebrating 4th of July. Like we was just enjoying ourselves. We was shooting fireworks in the street. We was enjoying the cookouts with each other. And, it was just a whole like thing to be with your family. Because to me, that like 4th of July was like symbolism of summer, like this like kickoff for summer in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And then the fireworks and all that shit. But now it seems like if you get caught wearing red, white, and blue, boy, they gonna be on your ass. I remember one time I was going to a party. I had a fresh polo outfit, bro. I had a red. It was like a red polo shirt with the blue star, and I had the pants, the shorts, and they was like red polo shorts with the blue stars. And these ladies see me, and they was like, "Oh, that you Mr. America, huh? You fuck
Look
with
at that
Trump." I'm like,
patriot.
"What?" Bro, they was on my ass, bro. I'm in the car, like they in the next car next to me. They see me, they like, "Oh, you Mr. America, huh? You trumped out, huh?" I'm like, "Damn, like it's like that." Nigga just got on some red, white, and blue polo shit, and y'all think I'm just
I think
Captain
that's too
America?
much.
Like,
So I mean, just because
they
you're
ain't never
wearing
met me a
something,
day in
like
their
I'm
life.
saying, so it's not just the little small things like that. I think it really is just a thought process. I mean, you can wear whatever you want to wear. In my mind, I'm gonna wear whatever I want to wear. So I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you can't shoot fireworks. My family, what I am saying is, as you
What are you
are
saying
celebrating these
exactly?
things, make sure you understand our history. That's all I'm saying. And if you got children in the house, make sure they understand our history. That's it. Because at the rate we going, The only way you're going to be able to recount history is through what we told our children, and our children then tell their children. Because it's going to where now you're not going to see it in textbooks, you're not going to see it in classes, you're not going to see it with the monuments, you're not going to see it with anything. So you don't want it just to be erased. People need to understand where we actually come from, especially because you never know. At some point in time, it's always going to be somebody that's in power and somebody who's being oppressed. It always is. So, I mean, it's best that our kids understand that. I'm not saying they got to live their life completely thinking, oh, they oppressing me, they doing this to me. But they just got to have an understanding of it. Because it's happening. It's happening. And it's happening. Go ahead.
I feel like
Nah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nah, you known for cutting niggas. You known for cutting people off anyway.
I feel like, well, I mean, you be taking them long,
I was
extended
ready.
pauses.
I
I
was ready
don't
for
know
you
when
to
to
go
jump
ahead
in.
and
It's like
cut me
double
off.
dutch. Like, damn, is this nigga? Okay, bet. We got a little back and forth. Then I like it where we need to be. But no, I was about to say. I feel like that's not really news anyway. I mean, I feel like that's the state of what America's always been. Because at the end of the day, I mean, nothing important is in them textbooks. Nothing important is in them textbooks. You ain't learning about credit cards. You ain't
That's
learning
true.
about taxes. You ain't learning about the downfalls of APRs and student loans. You ain't learning about scams or gambling. None of the stuff that's really gonna take you down and really affect your life currently. Now I get it that racism and oppression happen, but I mean it's not to me a surprise that they're taking out the textbooks because nothing that is worth knowing they just gonna serve up to you anyway. You got to go find all that.
Not
So I
only
feel like
that, but even when you speaking about how Dre said like they been doing that, think about what they was even putting in a textbook. What we knew about they was heavy on Martin Luther King. They gave us heavy Martin Luther King, but they because it was and then they you knew of Malcolm X, but they didn't want to get into like who he was and his teachings, his thoughts, and his approach to the whole civil rights movement. So they talked about Harriet Tubman. At the most, they said what like she freed slaves. That's it. No real rundown. Rosa Parks. She didn't want to get up out of her seat. It's very little shit that you're gonna learn in those textbooks until you get off to college and you maybe take a Black History course, or dig through other textbooks that's not gonna be in the syllabus in your regular class. So that's it's always been on the parents and your grandma and your great grandma to your grandparents to teach you that type of stuff. So that's how I feel about it. It's even how Dre talked about the important things. We having to teach our kids important things. Kids don't know about bank accounts. They don't know about interest rates. They don't know how to build credit. They don't know if credit is even important. Like that's all on us at the end of the day.
Well, half of us didn't know about that shit. You know what I'm saying? We just
I,
figured
I,
it out because our parents
I
didn't
can't
really
say that.
teach
I
us.
don't, I
You
don't
know
know
what I'm
about
saying?
that
So
because
that's why white people kind of
I mean, maybe it just
had
hit me a
a
little
head
bit deep
start.
because of my familiar structure. So my mom, who grew up in, I'm not, I, I'm not, I'm only speaking for
So
me.
you saying
I'm not
so you
speaking
saying
for
the
all
average
Black people,
common
but
Black person knew about credit and all that type of shit? We not speaking. We wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about in a whole
I
nutshell how everybody in
I don't
general
think that's black.
wasn't aware of these
I honestly
things.
don't
I'll
think that's
agree
black
with
people. I
that.
You
think
might
that's
be an
me.
exception.
Like so, like you got the different household. Like I know in my
Yeah.
household, I will say I learned early, like in my teenage years. My uncle was I was paying bills. I was responsible for certain bills. I was taught about APRs and credit cards. I was taught about a lot of stuff that my uncle prepared me for. going forward. Now, of course, I'm a child, so some stuff I'm gonna hold a little bit closer, and some stuff I'm gonna forget. But I feel like I was given a pretty good handle on finances coming out of high school.
No, I won't disagree. That's an exception.
What
Yeah,
I'm
I was
saying is
just
that
saying I didn't want to
that's an
speak for like
exception.
the
Like that's not
masses.
happening
Like all I'm gonna be
every
speaking
day.
on is like
So
what I actually went through. So I agree with you, Mitch, that ain't something that's normal that you're gonna learn about. I already said
but
it. You had said,
man, I
Yeah, my
don't
bad,
is
even know
that
what I was
something
gonna
that
say.
we actually
Yeah, I got
like
it.
from a general standpoint that black people are learning? And I responded to it and I was just like, nah, I mean it's not. I'm only saying from my own standpoint, and I think that regions matter. Yeah.
No, what I was saying was like the generations. Like I'm saying our generations, the people before us really didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like my parents uh and before them, you know, they just had got that information. Now that I have the information, I'm able to pass it to my kids. But you know what I'm saying? Like even though it was explained to me, I'd never seen the seriousness in it because I was just living for the moment, me
Mhm.
personally. But I'm just saying, like, far as it being a curriculum or us passing it on to our kids, we just got to make it sure that we're more like intentional with it and show them. You know what I'm saying? Like my parents
Mhm.
taught me how to work. They showed me that, you know, like, hey, go get money, but I didn't know what to do with the money. I was just working, you know what I'm saying? I was just benefiting from learning how to work, just being in the system. So now I'm saying, like, now that we have the tools and the information, we got to be able to break the system because I was having a discussion with my pops and we were talking about affirmative action, right? And a lot of people, you know, they feel a certain type of way about affirmative action. But when you look at who benefited the most from it, it was white women. You know what I'm saying? And then he was saying like something to me. And I want to see what you guys. I was trying to tie this into our discussion because he was saying basically that when you have a black person that goes to an Ivy League school or one of these prestigious schools, they basically get conformed into being gatekeepers versus like going to a HBCU, learning your history, learning the importance of your history,
I
and
mean,
then
I don't
building and being
disagree
more
because
radical. That's what the
let's really
discussion we
talk
was having.
about what just
How
happened.
y'all feel about that?
The Supreme Court judge who voted to pretty much get rid of um, affirmative action is a product of affirmative action. So he's one of those like gatekeepers you kind of talking about. But I'll transfer the word to what you kind of said earlier. What tends to happen in our culture is the black culture is people become exceptions as opposed to it being okay, he made it through Yale and now it's changing the minds of people and it's opening up people's hearts to want more people like him to go through. Instead, he becomes the exception and then he notices he's the exception and then that's when he turns into that gatekeeper. But he's at this, if he's a good person, it's an impasse to where they could do the same exact thing you're talking about with going through the HBCU. But I think the issue is power is something that it's intoxifying, just to be real. And when you don't think that because you don't have the HBCU or you don't have the other background from your parents teaching you where you come from and the importance of why being proud of where you come from matters, what happens is you get into those rooms and I think that you don't think you can necessarily compete on the levels of everybody else that's non-black, right? So you've relegated yourself to being okay with being the only black person in the room. And now you're competing with others that look like you by holding them back and not giving them that information or not helping them to get through that gate, which is like the Yales, the Harvards, and all of those things. So that's why we didn't really get to take advantage of affirmative action because it's hard for us. I mean, when you've been oppressed or held down and you get to a point to where, okay, you've made it, sometimes you feel like, well, you should make it too. But you got to really put it in perspective that it might be it's some hard work along the way, but it's some luck and opportunities for some of us black men specifically to actually make it. And if you look at it like that, then you're gonna actually reach back to bring other people up. We don't do that enough. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like with that
Amen to that. That's
specific
real.
situation, it's kind of messed up for you to expect for you to make it and expect somebody else to make it, but then forget that you turn around and removed all the ladders and things that helped you make it, but then you telling somebody get yourself up just like I did. Like, but I can't do that because you done turned everything off. It's like you climbed up the ladder, then reached back and pulled that motherfucker up. So how I'm gonna get up there? You know what I'm saying? It's yeah. I feel like it's a lot of what's the word I want to say?
What do you think
I
makes a
feel
brother
like
do that though? You
I
know what
feel
I'm saying? Like, because
I feel like
most
I
of the
can
kids come
say
from inner city.
with our people only because I've experienced it with our people. I don't know what it looks like in other cultures, but I know in our culture, I feel like it's a lot of sensationalism that goes on. It's definitely a lot of victim mentality also that goes on. So I feel like once people see things like on a grand scale, I feel like they really start getting. Everybody wants to be offended. Like that's the new power now. Like I don't know if y'all agree with me or not, but it seems like being offended is powerful. Being a victim is powerful. That's kind of how you got the Me Too movement and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm offended, so now I got this power in my hand. I can do this because everybody's looking at me and listening to what I'm saying. And I feel like I don't think he necessarily was trying to do what it has come off as to everyone. In his mind, he can probably justify it and kind of make it make sense. But in the totality on the outside looking in, it looks crazy to us because it's like, bro, why would you tear that down when you came up that way? You
It
know what I
makes
mean?
sense to me.
Does that make sense or no?
Oh yeah, like you benefited from it. Now it's not good. Like, oh yeah, you benefited from it, but now
And I
you're not
agree,
sharing it. Like you got the
but I
plug,
also feel like I
but
can
you ain't
give
gonna
him the
share the
benefit
plug.
of the doubt a little bit and say, well, maybe it's something that he's seeing on that side, and he's like, yeah, it did benefit me to get up because, like you said, it does also take some luck to get to where he's at because it would be more people where he's at if it was just affirmative action. But I feel like it's also a possibility, a small possibility, that he got to that side and was like, "Oh yeah, I was able to make it," but something about this is holding other people back from doing. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm hoping that that's the case.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
hoping that he didn't just get up and was like,
my father was saying to me that he thinks that is because when you go to those schools, you get indoctrinated into, you know what I'm saying, that thought process of it's just me, you know what I'm saying? And it's a competitive thing, it's a cutthroat thing. Like, so when you do make it, you ain't thinking about the other brothers that you left back in the hood. It ain't no survivor's remorse. It's like I made it, y'all
I'm
niggas
with
figure
you
it
on
out.
that
Like
because he didn't
I
just
got
go to
mines, like, you know what
an
I'm saying? I'm
Ivy
good.
League. He also went to an Ivy League and became a lawyer. So that community too is a highly competitive community to where it's a me community. So that could play a part. But I do like to think, like what Dre said, that I don't even like to think. I think it would be crazy for us to not or to think that we know everything that he sees. So maybe he does have a perspective to where, okay, in 20, 30 years, this might actually be the right decision. You know, I gotta have some faith in that, hopefully. But as it stands, it's kind of hard to just okay, it's going. You know, at the present state in time, it's hard to just let that go without thinking, hey, you use this. Why you just getting rid of it?
Can y'all in any one of you guys honestly say that you personally have benefited from affirmative action?
Not that I like know of, you know what I'm saying? I don't think like I've benefited from it. I think I just benefited from being a good person and, you know, coming in there and acting correctly or whatever, or just I think I benefited from other reasons other than being black. I don't think I never just got into something just because I was a token nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
That's just my train of thought, but
Nah, that
I don't
ain't
know, what do
never
y'all
happened
think?
with me ever. I don't know a case, not one.
Yeah, I mean, because I've lived in the South and I lived in the Midwest, and I've lived in both of them equally. And when I was in the South, I was around, I went to a high school that was pretty much 90% black and 10% other. So like, what the fuck is affirmative action when you, you know what I'm saying? You just got to be the best. Like, you just got to go to school and do your job. You competing with other people that's trying to get to a certain point, and that's always been the mentality that I had. So when I moved to the Midwest, I never noticed no difference. Like, I always had these opinions about white people, but then I started meeting white people, and I'm like, man, there's some cool white folks. Like, I got some white people that I really fuck with on a heavy tip. You know what I'm saying? So all the notions that I had previously about it, it just kind of went away, because when I was living in the South, I was super militant. It was like, what we need these folks for? You know what I'm saying? We already got our whole
Do you
system.
think that, like, you think they solid all around, or like have you ever been put in a position where they might have to show their cards a little bit more? Because a lot of people could seem solid.
Yeah.
To me, I can't say you solid until you've been put in, especially when I'm gauging from because I don't want to come off racist. When it comes to white people, I have to I look at them like, you got to get vetted before I'm stamping you. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen a lot of people that I thought, a lot of white
Mm-hmm.
people that I thought was solid, and then when it really came down to it, they start showing their hands a little bit more. And I'm not saying that it's not
Me
that they're
personally,
not out there, but I'm asking you, like, with the people that you say, the white people that you say are really cool, like, it's been situations where okay.
yeah. Me personally, I wouldn't say nobody is solid, black, white, or
Okay.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? If they wasn't solid. So I'm saying that when I moved there and I got to be an experience with them, and you know what I'm saying, go through things with them, I'm like, okay, nah, these some real folks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some of these motherfuckers have my back more than other
Okay.
people that I would assume. So like, it just kind of opened my eyes, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, coming from Atlanta, where I'm 90%, like I'm on some straight Malcolm X, you know what I mean? Fuck the other side shit. But once I moved there, it kind of changed my mind. I had to like be open. Like, people are people at the end of the day. You know, I kind of looked at it like that, because I came in contact with some white people that was super solid and helped me through some dark moments. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that's everywhere, but that's just what I came across. And I think it's just a person. You know, sometimes, like, it ain't really the color or whatever. It's just a person. If you a good person, you a good person. You know what I'm saying? There's some niggas out there that niggas don't
I
want to
think
be
you brought up a
around. And,
good point,
you know what I'm
but
saying?
just to
So
expand on it, because I think people are dynamic, like what you're saying. But when you bring up Malcolm X, I think you're referring to Malcolm X before he took his pilgrimage to Mecca. And and what I like to actually look at is the rounded person,
I
and
am.
he actually found that it took religion for him to actually understand it. It could be a different avenue for different people, but for him, it took religion for him to actually understand that, it's people of all different colors, and you just got to actually measure their character to see where they actually stand. And that's where he came back, and he was still, our people got to do X, Y, and Z. We got to make sure that we taking care of ourselves. But he opened up to accepting assistance or accepting the thoughts of white America, and I think that's important, because at the end of the day, we're not going to be able to get under whatever oppression or whatever we think is or struggle is out there just alone. To be real, I mean, because if that's the case, like, we all Americans, right? We said that earlier. I don't know if it was on the record or not, but we all Americans. So at the same time of us trying to empower ourselves, we got to understand that it's other cultures too, and we got to find a healthy balance. And that's where it comes into. We don't want things to necessarily be equal, because if you look at we're only 14% of the population, right? If you look at it like that, and we say we want it to be equal, then that's really to say, oh, we only get 14% of stuff, right? No, we want it to be equitable. We want it to be where we have opportunities that actually put us in places to where we can further ourselves and further Black culture. So I mean, that's all I really think about. And I think we're getting into like oppression without saying. But I got a question that I always ask myself when I get too high or too low when it comes to white people. And be real. And whether I should really be upset or angry. And I ask myself, and I say, if I knew that my kids and my kids' kids would have an advantage, how much would I actually how much stock would I actually put into helping people who don't have the advantage? I think I would, and I'll answer it first. I think there's some days where I would just be putting everything into conserving that, and that will work. Yeah, be honest, and that will work.
Conserving that advantage.
It wouldn't be me putting energy into stopping the other culture from making it, but in turn it would be, because I'd be putting all my energy into conserving having that advantage, right? And I think when I look at it like that, I understand that what kind you were saying, Mitch, it's just about people, really, and that's human nature. So how do we get to the point to where we can all work together and everybody feel heard, everybody feel like they're valued in this society? So,
But that's the problem. The problem is that a lot of things are just a lot of systemic things and a lot of institutionalized racism is still very much prevalent, man. And the old Kanye said racism's still alive, they just be concealing it. And that's one of the realest bars, man. Like the little things, the little subtle things that's happening. You know what I'm
Can
saying?
you give examples of that?
In regards to just keeping power, man. Look at the laws. The law. If you ever took a criminal justice, like for myself, I did criminal justice, man, and just hearing how just the laws in general was set up for blacks to be, in the position that they're in with crack and cocaine. You think about housing. Think about housing. Think about housing. There's a multitude of
Yeah,
things that
I mean,
you
I hear you saying housing, but so you're saying systemically housing is racist currently?
no. What I'm saying is there are things you think that you saying currently is not.
They're used
Was
to
it?
oppress them. No, but KP, but I think you were saying, KP, you were saying that they use
Yeah.
different systems
Yeah,
to oppress
I'm
us,
asking.
right?
I'm asking
example.
for advantage.
As
All
far as
right,
the criminal system.
examples
If
of
you
that.
don't think that if you don't think it's true, then look at California and or look at Bank of America. What Bank of America just recently tried to do with what they roll out that little black lending or whatever the hell they was talking about doing for black clients and stuff like that. It's a lot of things out there that just we're always gonna be below them. You know what I'm saying? It's even
Pandered.
even even when you think of, that's why I get so I wouldn't say I get upset, but like I understand why people be like, such and such that sold to a white man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then people look at it like, well, it's just a way to get inside the door. Get a seat at the table. If you think that's getting you a
It's
seat at
business.
the table, you confused, bro. They not letting you in the table. They not letting
I'm,
you on. They not
I feel
sitting
like
you. Go ahead.
I feel like I'm confused about what we're talking about. So I'm asking for examples. So you because you're saying I hear what you're saying, but I'm asking for an example. So like for an
I just
example
gave
of
you. I gave you several. Would you like another one? Look at school system.
well,
You think that
okay,
you think
but I'm asking
if
for
you asking
examples.
for an example, you gotta let me. If you asking for an example, you gotta let me talk. Then, so you look at schools. You think
Okay,
that if you go to all predominantly white neighborhood where it's predominantly white, it's a great neighborhood. Look at the textbooks. They getting issued out iPads and things like that. You go over there to Compton. You think they getting the same?
But
They
is that
getting the same material?
Is that racism or is that classism? Because I mean, if you in that class of people, you gonna get them same iPads. But
Do you
I hear
know
what
what
you're saying.
institutionalized racism is?
Yes, what I'm asking you, and I feel like you keep bringing it back to a different point. So systemic racism, right? You're saying that there's currently people being oppressed, right, in housing is what I was specifically asking about. But now you've moved it to schools. So
Well, you just asked me
redlining
for
was back
examples, so
in the 80s. I understand that, and
I don't think so. They
do they still
don't
do it
do
now?
They still
redlining.
do it
Now they
now,
might
though. They still do a version of
redistricting
it now.
where they redistrict a place
It's
based off of certain things, but they don't do redlining anymore. I think that would be disingenuous for us to say that.
okay. So what would you call gentrification? And when they pushing people out of areas,
I would call that classism.
what would you call that?
I would call that classism.
Hey,
So
nigga got a point.
I see what you're saying
Okay.
because black
I'm talking
people are
about it's happening in LA right now.
okay, but what I'm saying is I see what you're saying because black people are disproportionately affected and brown people as well because from previously systemic
They're not
racism
doing it in the white neighborhoods, right?
was that
When has a white neighborhood been gentrified?
I mean when you think about the definition of gentrification. Yeah, I mean,
Dre said
like I
that's
said,
just part of
I don't feel like I
economics.
feel like
Buy low,
white
sell
people
high.
get
I call it
gentrified all the
concealing.
time. So if you go to
It sounds
Alabama,
like concealing to me.
if you go to Alabama and you see that a landlord has purchased property that a whole bunch of trailer parks was on, and then the landlord's like, all right, y'all got to get up out of here now because we about to build this new convention center. Did they neighborhood technically get gentrified? It didn't look like Compton looked, but I mean, it's still a trailer park full of white people, right? So that's still gentrification.
I can't
It's just
speak for Alabama. Well, I ain't never been.
I mean
I can't
I hear what you're saying, but what I'm asking is for racism, specifically with housing. How give me an example of how black people are getting. I just want an example. I'm
I
not
can
saying
speak
it's not
on that.
happening. I'm asking for an example.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can I give you the example? Appraiser goes into the house. He notices that you're black. He appraises your house for $275.
Yep.
That same appraiser goes into the same house.
Yep.
Notices that it's a white person's house. Now the house is getting valued at
and that is very real. So I have a friend in Virginia. He's an appraiser. He's black. He does the exact same thing to white people on the other side. So what I'm saying is, what's stopping you from being an appraiser? It's not okay. So
an exception.
Okay, so hold on. You said that's an exception. How are you saying? Are you saying that only white people can be appraisers?
No, what I'm saying is that he's probably the only. He's probably a slim margin. Like
I agree that it's a slim margin.
Let's tie all this together.
Black people are not.
Let's tie everything together. Exactly. So let me tie everything together because I agree what Mike was saying about equity. We need equity. That's the main thing, right? So we need equity. So with us only being 14%, if you got one or two niggas that are appraising white people houses, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that really affecting shit? Like, is that really doing something? Like, it happens more. It happens more to black people than it. I bet you if you did the numbers, it happens more to a black couple than it would to a white couple. If we looked at the numbers, if we looked at the statistics on how many houses are getting appraised for a lower value than what they really worth versus a white person, our statistics
I agree,
would definitely
but I would
be lower.
also argue that it also happens more to uninformed people than it does to informed people.
Too.
Right? So what I'm saying, I mean, it is disproportionate to a certain extent. But when I'm saying uninformed is
what is uninformed?
Just like what you said. If a white person goes into a house and they see black pictures, right? so they're gonna lower it. Because this is a black fella. So what happens if I take all my pictures down? I understand
what
that
we're
you
talking
guys
about
are
is
talking about
racism, and I'm saying that that's intentional. If I go into a house,
I'm
you're
not
trying to
flipping any
flip the
discussion. I'm
discussion
asking
to something
questions.
else. We're talking about, you asked me for what racism, a form of
Yep.
racism, and I gave you an
I
explanation.
still think that's
a form of
classism.
racism. I'm saying that occurs
I'm
more.
saying I still think that's classism.
I mean, but even if
I don't
you
think
want
that's
to
classism. I
want to
think that's
give it into classism, that still ultimately falls down into racism. We only in the class that we're in because because of classism. You know what I'm saying? Like racism.
I
You
can't
think
get behind that
racism
one.
I
and
think we need to
classism
get
are
rid of the
you
isms. I think
crazy
it's
as
just
hell if you don't think
exploitation.
that.
now. I
Generational
understand what
wealth.
Dre's
So
trying to
we
say,
talking about classism.
because
If we're talking about classes, just the class system and stuff like that, then of course race plays a part. You know, because now we're talking about generational wealth and things like that. A lot of people are in the class that they're in because of generational wealth.
Okay, go ahead. I feel
think
like
that they play.
I
I
feel
think that
like
they
that.
play
what
hand
Dre
in
is
hand.
trying to say.
I feel like that is truer at the top than it is in the medium, in the middle, and at the bottom. So when I go look at so the dude, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm saying because I actually experienced it. The same thing that you just said, Mitch, when I was in Colorado, is the same thing that I was hearing from my realtor. So, or actually, I'm sorry, not from my realtor. I heard it from my buddy in Virginia. He was like, "Hey, so you about to sell your house and move to California, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "You got any pictures up or anything?" And I was like, "Why?" Now, keep in mind, this dude lives is a whole bunch of zeros behind the house that he live in. So he's informing me. Not a black guy though. This dude is Puerto Rican, but he's informing me that, okay, you know, sometimes when the appraiser comes by, if they see a certain type of person is there, then they're going to appraise your house a little bit lower for such and such and so and so. Basically, the same things that y'all said. I'm the type of person, you can look around my house, like behind me now, I don't even keep pictures up anyway. So my house was appraised for probably about $50K more than my neighbor's house, who is a cookie cutter white family. They selling their crib too. Mine appraised for way higher. But now I feel like if those pictures had have been up, that probably wouldn't have been the case. But even if they were up, I was informed prior to. So then my race doesn't really even take account. But then when the guy came to do it, it was a Mexican guy that came and did the appraisal. I knew because I parked up the street and y'all know my window stay tinted. So I parked up the street and just watched. It was a Mexican dude came and did the appraisal. Appraised mine for $50K higher than my neighbors, who was a white family. So that's what I'm saying. I understand that racism does exist, but I don't always think it's the way that people are think. I don't think it's always white on black. Like it's a lot of times it's classism, and people are just like, well, this class of people, we're not really going to do as much for them if they can't afford or be in this certain space.
So what? How does
I can see like
racism?
that is what it's slowly
I'm sorry.
transitioning to.
How does racism what?
I see what that's slowly
You
transitioning
said
into now. Like,
racism isn't a white and black
I see
thing,
what
so
that's slowly transitioning into
I was
now.
confused.
Like,
Go ahead, Mitch.
Oh, you think only
I
white
think
people
we're
can be
getting too
racist?
far off. So like this.
Yes.
Can I offer this? I think we're getting a little too
Yes.
far off. So
Yes.
so we supposed to be talking about oppression, right?
Yes. I know. He just triggered me with that one. So yeah. To answer, yes.
I got you.
I feel like
But
we should
can I
go wherever the
offer at
conversation
least
takes us.
that?
But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, Mitch, go ahead and say what you about to say though. I think you were gonna get us back on track. No, you got it. You sure?
y'all got it.
All right. So if we talking about
Y'all got it, bro.
oppression and racism are not actually synonyms. So like when we talk about oppression or if you talk about racism, I think what Dre is kind of saying is information is something that can combat racist tactics or oppression. So if you can get educated about certain things by way of like with his situation, somebody told him what he should probably do. then you can actually combat that, and then it kind of it doesn't get rid of it, but I think it mitigates the effects of racism or oppression. That's how I look at what Dre is saying. But it requires somebody reaching that hand back, So like, whose responsibility is that? Is that what people are supposed to do? And like Mitch was talking about earlier, I think it was you, Mitch. What stops people from doing that, or what motivates people kind of to want to do that? So before y'all just sit there and go off the beaten path by race. Because I think everybody can be racist. I just don't think the effects of everybody's racism is going to be the same.
This man really said only white people can be racist.
That's wild. That's wild.
very
It's
wild.
wild that y'all think. So explain to me how a black person could be racist.
Okay, so let's take what?
Are you saying prejudice? Let's make sure. Are you saying we could be prejudiced, or are you saying
No, you can be
racist?
racist. You can be prejudiced. You can be all that. Anything that one
we're not in a position of power to be racist, bro.
What do you consider power, bro? What do you consider power?
Bruh.
Answer. I'm asking the question. Answer it.
Economical power alone. You can't be. Black people cannot be racist, bro. It's literally impossible. We don't have the power to fucking to oppress a group of people. We don't.
A group of people. We're not talking about a group of people. I'm talking about one person being racist to another person.
You can't.
You talking?
I think that anybody can racially discriminate against somebody. What I just said though is the effects. I mean, that's being racist.
Discriminate, yeah.
The effects of
I just don't like
person's racism may not be the same as somebody else's. Is all I'm saying. Because they might not have what you're talking about, the amount of power as the other person. So I think if you really look up just the word racism, yes, I think anybody can be racist or racist. But the effect of a black person's racism on a white person is not going to be as profound as the reverse. That's just my opinion. So,
all right. If
I don't think everybody can be racist. I think y'all got prejudice and racism.
With you saying confused. That, Mitch, let me go ahead real quick and read off this definition of racism.
He about to read us. So he about to read us a white man's dictionary.
Bro, we using a white man's internet.
Tell us what racist is saying. Go ahead, tell me. Explain it. What you gonna say?
Racist, characterized by showing prejudice, discrimination, and antagonism against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group. Anyone can do that to anyone. A Mexican can do it to a Guyanese person. A Trinidadian can do it to a Brazilian. A white person can do it to a black person. A black person can definitely do it to a white person. Anyone can be racist to anybody. For you to think that only white people can be racist to black people, that would mean that you feel like white people have a superpower over you. I'm never finna be able to be like another motherfucker got a power over me. If he can do it, you best fucking believe that I can do it. I don't understand.
I was just we're talking about systematic oppression, right?
No, he said racism. He didn't say systematic oppression.
No, I'm talking about racism.
That's why
we started off talking about systematic oppression.
I'm saying black people can't be racist, and I'm staying on that. I'm staying on that mountain alone with the flag. With the flag, bro.
I feel like it's racist to say that.
I don't know.
Get us back on track, brother. Please.
That's crazy.
It's gonna be interesting to see how like just in regards to just how the teachings. I guess I was just taught different. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you definitely taught different than what I was taught.
Yeah.
And keep in mind,
I don't
I'm
know if
saying
you can say that in a room full of HBCU students and stuff like that.
I mean, you said
I know. I think you would have got ate up if you said that shit yesterday. That's wild. That's wild to even
no.
hear, man.
I'm
But
gonna
after
keep it
this,
real.
I'll send you some videos that
I'm
I
gonna keep it
seen on
real.
it.
I 100% would not have gotten ate up because I feel like no one has experienced more racism than I have experienced with my upcoming. I don't feel like y'all have.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm not saying that I feel personally that hasn't been the case. I mean, you have to understand. Yes, like I said, I grew up in California, but I also went to middle school and high school in Alabama. My uncle got sentenced for 50 years for slapping a white lady by a Ku Klux Klan judge. So I mean, you like no one is going to tell me about racism and what it looks like and how it feels. I from the most southern part of Alabama and telling you, black people can definitely be racist against white people.
So I want to share
That's my opinion.
that is
No,
true. They can be, um, and sometimes it's warranted, or a lot of times it's warranted, because another story, like in North Carolina, in Benson, North Carolina, right after Martin Luther King was assassinated, my uncle and four other individuals decided that they wanted to burn down the Ku Klux Klan. And if you don't know the part of North Carolina that they're from, they just took down the KKK billboard like 10 years ago. But just to give you a little understanding of that, but they weren't successful in even burning it down, and they only caused $40 worth of damage to the door, and they were trying to get them 18 years in prison until the NAACP actually came and gave them actual appointed lawyers as opposed to just them working with the white lawyers that were in Benson. So, and I'm talking about these people were none of yeah, no, I got you, but
That's
none of
another
them.
systemic
So
way
I'm
of
just
doing
giving
that.
the outlook on. I understand what
Yeah.
you mean by racism completely, but I do believe just the word itself and just the definition of being racist, anybody can do it. It's just where we're in a power base right now. The oppressors are the white people, and the oppressed are non-white. So when a white person shows racism towards or discriminates in any way towards a black person, it is much more profound than if a black person does it to a white person. That doesn't mean that a black person still can't do it, though. Is all I'm saying. But just the way to look at it in my mind. But I don't know. Let's lighten it up. He was
I'm just
passionate
here.
on that
Every
one,
time I
man.
start talking, niggas overtalk me and all kind of shit. I'm just here.
Yeah, my fault, man. It just triggered me, man. You like my fault.
there was a whole lot of triggers going on. That was wild. That's a wild statement to even say. That's crazy.
I don't know. I mean, I think racism. I think it comes from a position of power, and I think that's why most people assume that, you know, black people can't be racism. I think reverse racism is something that they use to try to make us feel guilty for feeling the way, because I think naturally black people are just a forgiving spirit people. Like as much shit we've been through, we could have been burnt this motherfucker down. They really scared of us. You know what I'm saying? And when we do burn shit down, they be mad and say, "Oh, why you burning down your community? Why you doing this, and that?" So it's it's a touchy subject. I think we're more. I think prejudiceness is more the correct way to say that. Like I'm prejudiced against this person because of maybe some things that occurred to me in my past life or some things that I seen and experienced. But just like black people being racist, I don't know. I don't really think we are naturally racism. I think we are naturally soulful people, kind-hearted people to go through the shit that we went through and not burn this motherfucker down completely. That take a different type of person, like that type of a forgiving heart, like that.
I'm glad you brought that up.
A lot of people ain't gonna
That's
they
what
gonna
I
hope they
be
get their
saying
get
when I
back
think about
forever. You
oppression.
know what
When
I'm
I'm
saying?
like,
So
when I say like protecting that advantage, it also goes into that too. That fear of at any given time in history, you can look back. There's an oppressed and the oppressor. period. It don't matter what race, what color, what creed, what religion, any of that. And at some point, things shift, paradigms shift. And I mean, I think that they've looked at history, and the reason it's worked so well is because they've studied history and they've studied cultures and kingdoms where it's failed, and understood that in order for you to oppress a people for an extended period of time, it has to be graduated. So if we were always in chains and that was the only plan the entire time, it was going to be a finite period of time that was going to be the case. We were going to revolt and all die, just being real, at some point, or we just were going to say, no, we're not going to do it anymore. So what did they do? They shifted into sharecropping, where we thought we was owning something, but really we were just working off debt that we could never pay back. So you were really still essentially a slave, and at that time you didn't even have enough food to eat because you weren't a slave. And then it went into further, and then you get into redlining, or you get into civil rights, where people actually start accumulating wealth. But then hold on, we got to make sure you relegate to only certain communities. So it's been a huge, I will tell you, I get that. It's a huge systemic and systematic approach to how they actually were able to stay the oppressor, And I mean, but now that we know that, what do you do about that? I mean, I think it's just information. It's not, we keep.
I feel like now we at that stage where Dre is talking about, where it's more classism now. Because you have niggas that have made it, you got some that's trying to make it, and you got the lower class. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we at this weird position where you got some people that have in your family that might be eating real good. You got some people in your family that might be struggling, and you got some people that in your family that's just getting by. But we got to be able to work as a community to uplift each other, or at least put each other on information, because we can't be gatekeepers. You can't be the nigga at the top of your family. You made it, but you can't give out the information so everybody else can't get up. You know what I'm saying? And I think that ties everything that we've been talking about today, is really like not being a gatekeeper of information. If you got information that can help your family or can help your friends or whatever, share that information. Why do I have to have a nigga selling me a course to get this information? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if I came up with a course and had to sell it to you niggas to show y'all how to do something, versus me just telling you like, hey man, I can do this, you can do this and that. But instead I'm gonna package it in a course and sell it to you niggas for $29.95.
That's what I was saying though about the informed and uninformed. You saying you give the information. If you have the information, then how they gonna hold you back? That's what I'm saying. Like if
And what I was saying, Jay, I agree with you. I said I think it's a little bit of everything, right? It's a issue where we have been systematically oppressed. Now we have the information, and niggas are oppressing the information, because you got niggas that are, like you say, on some classism shit. It might be a black man that has the information, but he like, I made it. You niggas got to do the work.
It is,
or you got to pay me to get this
supported
information.
by, not to give those people
That's
excuses,
classism, right?
but it's supported by the way the system is set up. If they don't charge you, what if you the only customers? Like, so I mean, then it's like, how
then
do
you're
they
looking at it
live?
crazy.
How do they eat? You get what I'm saying? So it's set up to where it's hard. If you that exception, I think it is difficult for you to really, truly, fully reach back and just want to openly give what you can give.
That's just streamlining. That's just streamlining one income. So if you got information, you done made it. You didn't make it off of giving information. You made it off of whatever it is that you know. You know what I'm saying? And now what's happening is a lot of people are having these damn TED talks, or these damn
Masterclass.
exposés and shit like that, where they charging motherfuckers to give that information. How could you say, "Oh, I want to see black people make it. I want to see black people make it," but then, "Oh, come down here to Atlanta and tickets is at the door for $100. Like, then you just trying to profit off of giving that information. If you truly want to see black people make it, then what you gonna do? You gonna pony up that information and you gonna go on a world tour. Hey, we done booked out this information. If you really give a hell about giving people the information, like you say. And I think that's what Mitch was talking about, because these cats, a lot of people were they done figured out the housing system. You know what I'm saying? Like with real estate and stuff like that. You think they just giving you that information? You think that they didn't just create a YouTube, a video?
Well,
hey, this first video is how you do this. They're not even giving you that.
I feel like it is situations where they are giving that, but when they do that, a lot of times people don't trust the information because it's free. They're like, you just tell why you ain't doing it.
I think you just got so many grifters, though. You got a lot of grifters. You got a lot
definitely.
of scammers,
you got a lot of you got a lot of scammers. Period.
That's the issue. With social media now, it's created all these influencers, and people are using that influence to, you know what I'm saying, create this lifestyle marketing where, you know what I'm saying, they showing that they doing this and that, and that's called social proof. But really, them niggas could be faking that whole situation, or they could just be using the community's money to fund that, but they ain't really putting in, you know what I'm saying, the time and effort to get the community to the places that they need to be. They just selling the information and like, okay, I sold you the information and you figure it out.
What I'm saying is, what about the people that's giving it out for free, and then people just not taking the information?
That's another issue, because
they
in our community, we are quick to judge, and if it's free, we quick to say, nah, that ain't the information I need. Whether we say it out loud or not, and whether the four of us feel that way, I think that is something that in our community we've been wrong so many times, just in history, that we like, nah, we don't trust it. We're not very trusting. We might be very forgiving, but we're not very trusting.
It's very true.
But why would you trust somebody that's selling you a course? You know what I'm saying? Just because they package it. Because like I said, I'm gonna keep it 1,000. When all this shit was going on during COVID, I paid to be in a course. You know what I'm saying? I paid for a course, and I paid some significant amount of money for that shit. You know what I'm saying? And although I did get information that you know what I'm saying, that helped me, I feel like once them niggas got their money, they was just like, figure it out, nigga. Like, figure it out on your own. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I can say like, yeah, I did learn stuff, but I also got cheated in the process too, because niggas sold products that really didn't do what they said they was going to do, because somebody sold like this Autobot that was supposed to be for trading to get us funded, and the shit didn't even work. And then niggas tried to get their refund, and it was just a whole situation. So,
well, like, I mean, I feel like a lot of those things are people profiting off. And so I'm not going to just say laziness, but laziness and lack of informed community. Like the community is not informed, right? And some of them are informed, but they lazy. Like that's me. So I'm the informed lazy person. If I know that I can get on this internet right here and find whatever I want to find out, I can vet enough sources. I mean, it's going to take time and research for me to actually know that this is okay. So this is the way I do it. It's not a secret. It's just, it's hidden. It's hard to get to because it's so much convoluted. Like the waters have been muddied so much. It's hard to actually find the actual knowledge. So you got to actually put some effort in.
Yeah, it takes bandwidth.
But then you also have the people that don't know that, and so they get taken advantage of as well. But I feel like for the most part of it, I mean, they just taking advantage of the fact that people want to get rich quick. People they don't want to do the work. Everybody want to be rich, but don't nobody want to do the work. Like you got to get your elbows dirty. You got to get your feet dirty.
I feel like the solution to that is really just finding you a community of people that are like-minded, that think the same way you, or not even think the same way, but just are like-minded, are in agreement and have the same type of principles or morals that you might identify with, and then y'all build with each other. Because just like we share information, we share silly shit, but we also share serious shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure if I need to ask some tax information, I can talk to Mike and he gonna give me the information. He gonna be like, "Hey, nigga, that's $9.95. I'm gonna see that invoice." You know what I'm saying? He gonna tell me if he knows the information
to a certain extent. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like Mike. I feel like Mike will be the one to send you.
Yeah, to a certain extent. No, I'm just saying, like, I'm using Mike as an example. I just feel like anybody, though. I feel like if I had to ask KP for some information on some legal advice, he would give me the information if he had the time. But it's just really having a community of people that, you know what I'm saying, that you build and trust in, and then y'all doing it with each other. Just like how you said you had the homeboy in Virginia who was able to tell you, hey, man, take them pictures down. That shit is going to fuck up your value.
Yeah.
That's information that somebody is looking out because he's in a position to, hey, I do this. I'm an appraiser. I do this on the regular. This is what I know. So I'm gonna let you know that, like, instead of just keeping the information. So I feel like we have to build communities, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's in your family or it's outside of your family, just of like-minded people. Cause me and my dad have been talking about this because it's like, it's so much bullshit going on in the world. There's so many distractions in the world. You can get distracted in that shit, or you can just build your community. You understand what the battle is, what we're up against, but how are we going to beat this shit? Like, what are we going to do to beat it? And to beat it, I feel like you have to build a strong community of people that have different skill sets. You know what I'm saying? I look at it like this: like if it was the end of the world, I want a nigga that's a mechanic. I want a nigga that's a pilot. I want a nigga that's a shooter. I need a medical nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like I need all that shit because if it come down to it, we got to survive, and we need a whole fucking group of community of people that have different skill sets that can build with each other. Because if not, we're gonna be out.
What happened when the information don't come from someone that look like you though? Like with kind of like what KP was talking about earlier when you're saying that only white people can be. But how
you have to trust that person, I guess. Like it has to be somebody that you built a relationship with that you trust. I mean, that's the only way you're gonna trust some information, right? Is if it's somebody that you trust as a person. You know, this person's character is A1. Are they proven time and time again that they're gonna, look out for you, and you looked out for them? Y'all have a relationship. I don't think it's just like
I'm gonna keep it real. So I have faith in people. So that's another question I want to ask. So when y'all see a group, when y'all see a person, the first thing that y'all recognize is the color they are. So like, if you see a white dude, is that the first thing coming to your mind? Like, oh, this is a white man, or this is just a man.
I mean, I think we all look at color, but that's not, at the end of the day, that's not what you basing off of friendship. I base off of how you treat me. If I meet you, you know what I'm saying, and you treat me like a genuine person, and the vibe is there, I don't give a fuck what your color is. I don't care what your nationality is. It's a respect thing. So if you respect me, I respect you, and we're able to get along. We might have some things that bring us in commonalities, some things that we interested in. That's how you build a friendship or a relationship. I don't think we're just naturally going to be attracted to somebody that we don't identify with unless we have some commonalities. So if I have some commonalities with you, some things that might bring us closer, like you like playing PS5, I like playing PS5, or you like basketball, I like basketball, and we able to talk about those type of things, and then that creates more dialogue that we build off of, and then I'm like, okay, this person is a cool person. I don't think, just basing off of a person's color, because there's niggas out here that'll rob your ass, and there's white people out here that'll rob your ass.
I know. I feel personally like some of the most profitable moves I've made in life have been from information I've gained from people that look nothing like me that I didn't even know. People just having a conversation with somebody, some random dude, truck stop. Hey man, you should do this. Word? What'd that do? I don't know this dude from Tom, Dick, or Harry. Give me some information. No relationship there. Never seen this person again. Very profitable. I don't think that it always has to be a relationship or trust there. I mean, it has to be trust in the information, but sometimes you got to take a leap of faith. Like, how do you know until you test it?
That's a good point. I mean, sometimes I look at those people like almost like angels, though. Like, that's some rare shit. Because sometimes you do get like sight, like when I was traveling to Houston, and I stopped in Louisiana, and I was tired, so I needed to stop, and I stopped. And as soon as I walked into the hotel to go use the bathroom, it was this old cat, and he was just being super friendly to me. You know what I'm saying? For no reason though, just super nice to me though. And like as I thought about it, I'm like, man, that could have been an angel. So just somebody let me know like I'm on the right path. And they just giving me, you know what I'm saying, either the good vibes that I was looking for, because really I was looking for confirmation. Like, is this a cool place to be parked at? Because I was going to take a nap in my car real quick and then get back on the road and finish my drive. So when I went into the place, I just wanted to check and see the scene, and then I needed to use the bathroom. But as soon as I seen dude, he was just like talking to me and being real pleasant. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it's just your intuition. If somebody gives you that intuition and they speaking some information, because I, like you said, I have been at bars and talked to people and had random conversations, and they then gave me some shit, and I'm like, damn. And then I went and looked and researched it, and now it's like, okay, this is some good information. But they put a bug in my ear, I guess, you know what I mean? I guess, and I had to do the information. But how often does that happen, or how often do you trust people that just
I
give
mean, I
you
feel like it's
random
the
advice?
situation that you be in. So I mean, just like what you said, you used to be at bars. So I know that y'all all know I used to actually own a bar. You know how many people just came in talking to me, don't know who I am, they don't know I own the bar. I'm just sitting at the bar or behind the bar acting as a bartender. I met the CEO of Angry Orchard. I didn't know who this dude was. He came into my bar and he was like, "Hey man, you work here?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm the manager." And he was like, "You guys got any Angry Orchard?" I said, "Nah, we don't have none." He was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna be back." And he's "I really love Angry Orchard. That's really all I drink. So if y'all don't have none, I don't really want nothing. But y'all have a great day. I'll be back next week." So I did inventory. So happened, I was like, you know what? Let me grab like 3-4 cases of Angry, or 3-4 6-packs of Angry Orchard. See if anybody come by and get some. Put it on there. I didn't see this dude for another 2 weeks. He show up and he was like, "Hey man, you remember me?" I was like, "Yeah, I do remember you." He was like, "You got some Angry Orchard?" I was like, "Man, you know what? I do, just for you." Pulled it out. He drank it. We got to talking, smoking. We go outside. He got this big Denali truck. It's the big joint, the HD Denali joint. He was like, "Hey man, you want to come take a ride with me?" Keep in mind, like I said, I met this dude once when he came in the bar the first time, and then I seen him a couple weeks later. All I knew about this dude is we done had a couple drinks and smoked a couple cigarettes together. "Hey, come take a ride with me." I was hopping in the truck. Started riding around. He showed me this property. He's like, "Man, it's like 30 acres I own. I never come down here. The last time that you seen me was the first time I came down here in years." He's like, "I've owned this for like 15 years now." I was like, "Oh, word?" I was like, "What do you do for a living?" He's like, "Oh, I'm the CEO of Angry Orchard." That's why I was asking you to get it in there. I was like situations like that. Like how do you, if you're not trusting nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like how
What
are you gonna
information
even?
did he give you?
You said what?
You said that, you told us this story, and I'm waiting for the information that you got. Like, what did he like? Y'all just was cool. Like, I guess I was trying to understand the point of the story. Like, yeah,
The
he
point
was
the
just
point of
kicking
the,
it,
the
or
point of
did
the
he
story
just
is
give you
if
some?
the point of the story is just because somebody I just feel like people get so sensationalized with racism and being oppressed and not trusting. Like you never, this dude was like probably like a 40, no, he's probably like a 50, 60-year-old white dude. The information that he gave me personally was about some stock tips at the time. But I
Oh,
mean,
okay, okay.
but I mean,
No,
obviously,
that's all. I wasn't even trying to be funny. I was
no,
just
no,
saying, all
I
right.
feel you. But what I'm
Yeah,
saying, what I'm
I thought I
saying
was.
is like, how do you build those relationships if you're already saying, I don't trust Whitey over here. Like I just don't, I guess I don't operate that way, so it don't make to me that line.
I don't know if you confuse what.
No, I
Well,
mean,
I
I
don't
think a
know if
little
that would,
bit.
because sometimes people will be talking to a certain person and they don't say who they talking about. For myself, I don't. You don't go into. I don't go into the situation like, oh, they white. I don't trust them. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, I definitely keep an eye. I'm going to operate with people just how I operate with them. You know what I'm saying? Like whether you black, white, Indian, Hispanic, whatever. But I'm gonna keep an eye on triggers that I've seen with white people. I've seen and just like I keep triggers with black people. Like, all right, they doing this. Hold on, let me scale back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying no. You just walk around and be like, oh, there go a white person. I don't want nothing to do with you, whitey. No, it's not. It's not like that. But what I'm saying is, you definitely gotta, keep your eye out for, and that's probably for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You should be rolling through life with that, with anybody. But what I'm saying is, white people when they're angry, they really show their cards. You know what I'm saying? They really go on some racist rants and tyrants and stuff like that. So that's what I'm more so speaking of. I'm not talking about like, no, you
How
don't
is that
get
worse than black people
information,
when
you
they
don't
angry though?
what?
I said, how is that worse than black people when they angry?
How is what worse?
Like you saying when white people get angry, they go on racist tirades, right?
Yeah.
So what I feel like that's more of they saying something to try to hurt you. It's not necessarily that they racist, but if you black and they white, they know the easiest thing for them to say to hurt you is do some racist shit. Just like if two black people get into it, the first thing that they probably gonna do is start trying to tear you down as a person because they can't get racist with you. That like I guess I'm just not gonna say that inherently this person is racist because he got mad and start saying some racist shit. Because I can get mad and say some racist shit.
So do
That
y'all
don't mean I'm
believe in
racist.
Do y'all believe in reincarnation? And what if you came back as a white person?
KP
Bro, I'll be
probably
living.
go take
I'll
himself
be
out.
hot.
ASAP.
I'll be in blackface.
Why you
We can't hear
playing,
you,
Mitch? I
Mike.
was thinking about this the other day, and I posed it a little bit differently. I said, "What happened?" Because it's all cyclic, right? When it comes to oppression and who's in charge and who's not in charge. And I was sitting there thinking about what if you come back white during the time that it has flip flopped to where black people in charge, and now you right back at the bottom again.
Now you
Like,
oppressed again, but now you're an oppressed
I'm
white
just
man.
saying, like, I don't know.
Bruh. That's some Alfred Hitchcock shit right
I
there.
don't believe in reincarnation, but
That is
if
some Alfred
reincarnation
Hitchcock
is
shit,
real,
bro.
I would hope that it has to do with the karma that you've built up, and the good nature or lack thereof that you've had. And if it's you coming back as a human, I would want to come back as the same culture, in hopes that I would be seeing steps forward. You know what I'm saying? Um, I wouldn't want to come back as a white person. Just because, honestly, for me individually, not for black people, but me individually, you can laugh all you want, man. Look, look, look. Go ahead, KP, laugh.
Why are we specifically talking about white
Well,
people
I
though?
agree
Like you
with
could
Look,
be
you.
any type of
look,
person.
look.
You could be
I'm
a
just answering the
butterfly.
question as it was presented. I'm answering the question
You
as it
could
was
No,
come
I
back
just
presented.
did that to
as
be
an
funny,
ant.
but
Look,
I
I want
mean,
to come back as a black person, black man, period. So it don't matter if we talk about any other race. But that's because when I really just think about my life now, forget the reincarnation part, I don't think I would be who I am without certain things occurring, you know? And I kind of had this conversation, a weird conversation, and then I went on to actually really, really thinking deep into it. And it's like the butterfly effect. You come back as something different, and then the next time you come back, it's even more different. And then the next time, I'm just like, nah, I need to come back as a black man to see this thing through. I don't care if that's for eternity, but that's just me.
So I'll pose this question to you then. Say you came back as a black man, but it was
Yeah, I'm
1863.
cool
You
with
still
that.
cool with that?
Yep, I'm cool with that.
Black man in America?
Oh, I know where I would be. So,
Where
oh,
would you
you
be?
saying? Oh, hold on now. So, well, we would first off, we would still be in bondage. Yep. Are you asking
In
what
bondage.
station in bondage I would be in? Like, would I be the type?
Yeah, you're gonna be in the field,
Oh, I'm
you're
gonna
gonna be
be
in
in
a
the field.
house.
No, I'm pretty. So, just
Where
based
do you
off
think
of
you would be?
history and the age I am right now. So let's say it's at the age I am right now. The color of my skin, I'm gonna be in the field more than likely. Yeah.
And the way you look.
What that mean?
If you look like that, you definitely will be there.
All four of us gonna be in the field. All four of us gonna be in the field.
You gonna be in the field? They might put KP in the house.
I'm gonna come back.
I'm not coming back a black person.
So I think that's easy to say, KP. Like, so I'm definitely.
I'm dying out there.
Oh, so you wouldn't be a slave, KP? That's what you're saying?
Man, kill me. Kill me.
Mitch?
If I have this, I mean, that's kind of hard to speak on because I'm thinking about my mindset. If it's with how my mindset is, I'm trying to escape, or I'm like, nah, fuck, what? Imagine me, what? Man, look at this. Look at this puny white boy talking.
What if that's
work.
all you know, KP? What you born into it?
Y'all on some quantum leap shit.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't really speak on it because I'm thinking on my mindset.
Yeah.
And I can't think no other way but hell no. Nah. And I think that, but that's the thing. I also think that there were a lot of slaves that were probably like, no, fuck that. I'm not doing that. No. You know, as much as we talk about the slaves that were and that was getting beat and stuff, I think that there were slaves that was like, nah. Y'all don't think that?
That was. No, I mean, I think it was, but I think it was rare. It was rare. I mean, it wasn't too many niggas that
want to come
was
back
being
as
disobedient
master so
to
bad.
master,
I can he want to be master so bad,
bro.
I don't think it was too many people that was disobedient like that. I think you had your Nat Turners, your Harriet Tubmans, and things like that. But and you probably had more than they publicized as well. But you got to think about the courage that it takes, the type of heart that you have to have. You got to be from a warrior spirit. So if you was from if you got a warrior spirit in you, then yeah, that's gonna be what you was. I don't think so. Just talking about reincarnation in general, I don't think we're gonna go back.
Who knows?
That's just
I didn't like how he did that one. He tried. Yeah, he tried.
I mean, that's some quantum leap shit.
Let's go backwards.
But before you move on, though, Mitch, I agree, Mitch. But before you go on, can you answer where you feel like you would have been? What your status would have been? Yeah,
man,
a house nigga or a field nigga?
Man,
I'd have been in the house.
Bro. It don't matter how. Nah, only time you would have came.
I'm a smart nigga. He would have had me in the house because I'm a smart nigga. I'd bring you in, but your ass is stand outside. Smart to be.
Have you looked at yourself, bro?
Nah, I'd have been in the
That's
house.
why they not gonna let you.
He'd have me in his right hand. It'd been like that nigga too smart to be out there in the field.
But y'all saying all y'all would have been runaways?
So, oh yeah,
KB said he would have been a runaway. Mike,
but I'm gonna be more specific with it because it's kind of uncomfortable. But I'm gonna be more specific with it. I would be a runaway. Like I don't know if I would have been able to endure running away, getting all the way to freedom, and then turning back to then take the arduous journey to get back. Because that's even harder actually than the runaway part. To then come back and get some more people and go again. I think that is very difficult because then once you have experienced freedom, it's hard to then go back and risk what you actually have experienced. When it's the first runaway, you trying to get to this idea of freedom, right? When you actually get to it and you experience it, I don't know if it will be easy to actually turn back and bring other people. That would be very difficult, not just physically, but mentally.
Mike saying he wouldn't give. Mike saying he'd be one of them niggas that wasn't giving the knowledge.
That's not what I'm saying.
He wouldn't go back and get the knowledge.
That's not what I'm saying.
He not reaching back. He leaving. Hey, he leaving. But when he leave, he leaving.
But when he leave, niggas, find out your way. Look at the
Hold on.
Pulling up the ladder, like
Hold
you
on,
said,
Nick.
Drake.
All I'm saying, I'm
Pulling
giving
up that
credit to
ladder.
people. Like Harriet
No,
Tubman,
some real shit though.
that takes some credit for you
On
to
some
keep
real
on
shit
coming
though.
back.
Let's think about.
That's not just any regular person that's gonna be able to do that. It's not, man. And for me to just say here today that I would do that,
yeah,
that ain't real. That ain't that.
You gotta have a warrior
Let's
spirit.
be for real, man. You going through all them swamps. You going all the way from wherever, and I'd probably be in the deepest part. I'd probably be in Georgia, and I got to go all the way up through to the north. Man, you telling me
Total darkness.
you could say right now that if you were to make it,
we know Dre ain't gonna be able to do it. He can't even run 6 miles.
Wow.
I said, we know
Oh,
Dre ain't
that
gonna be
day I
able
was
to do
not
it. That
running
nigga can't even run 6 miles.
Oh, you crazy.
Dre like, nah, I see y'all niggas in the
Oh,
house. I'm in the house
yeah.
eating
So I
chicken.
guess
I'm
if
good.
it's
See
me,
you
I'm gonna
niggas
be
in the
more
house.
realistic. So I know personally that I'm here because people in my family were slaves. So I feel like it would
but you
be
don't know
kind
that at
of.
that time. Nah, don't try to change it. Like we saying, if you was put back there, so if you was put back there, you don't
No,
know
what?
that you gonna be where you at right now. Okay.
No, I agree. But what I'm saying is,
But he's saying that they
what I'm
preserved.
saying is,
But he's saying that they
my
preserved.
bloodline was all slaves. Like my people didn't come from the north; they still in the south now. So how I'm gonna say I'm gonna be the one person out of my bloodline that's gonna be a runner? They clearly wasn't running. My people from Bama, so I don't.
So what if he was in an area where, I look at it like this, right? What if he was in an area where niggas really wasn't rebellious and they weren't running and people were just cool with being on the plantation? You know what I'm saying? That ain't gonna mean like you gonna be. I feel like you gotta see one person make it to be like, or you gotta have that spirit to where you like, I ain't doing this shit no more. I'm tired of this shit. I ain't doing this shit.
I'm gonna keep it real. I probably would have been in the field,
so,
and I probably wouldn't have
feel
been a
like you
slave
gotta
for
have that
long
type
because
of
I'm lazy. So I mean, they probably would have just go
Yeah.
ahead and got rid
I
of me.
don't like Rancho Cucamonga heat. I'm definitely ain't about to be out there in the South heat, bro.
I ain't saying I was
Be up
running.
out
They
of here,
probably
my boy.
be like, we killing
that
the
shit
lazy
sound
one.
cool. They crack that whip on your ass.
Like, you got to keep hitting me, bro, because I ain't moving. It's
Get
hot.
me up out of here.
Just bury me in the ocean with my ancestors that jumped from the ships. Because they knew death was better than bondage.
Yeah, man.
Crack you with that whip.
This ain't no regular. They not like. I don't care how much of a beating you think you got from your mama, your daddy. That's not what we talking about. We talking about tying you to the tree. We talking about hitting you with that cowhide. That
Talking about ripping the skin off your back.
It's different. But I think
I'm the Django out here with
the
mine.
real
it's different, bro.
stronghold they had on us was
it sounds good.
The fact that families, man, like it ain't just physically that you don't want to get beat. It's I want to run, right? But is my wife, because you can't really call me your wife at that point, but is my wife able to run too? Is my son able to?
Well, you already said you wasn't
That
coming back
still
for
doesn't
nobody.
mean
So.
I wouldn't be weighing whether I would leave based off of that. Look, you trying to look. First of all, I don't think anybody can say what they gonna do. Second of all, I'm going to. It's not like I'm gonna leave in the night by myself and not tell nobody. I'm gonna let people know.
Yeah.
What door I'm gonna lock? I'm gonna be in the outhouse.
The gate locked. Mike gone and
that,
the gate locked.
That 4x4 gonna be like, gonna wedge that thing up.
I agree with you, Mike. I think it's easy to say what you would and how you, but until you in that situation, you know what I'm saying. So that's why, like, I don't even think we would go back. I'm just wondering, like when I think about reincarnation, I think about like if you die, you gonna either your energy is gonna shift into another element. You might come back as a motherfucking butterfly. You might come back as a fucking tiger. You might come back as an Asian person.
That'd be trash, bro.
Is it trash though?
Like, you ain't living long.
Yeah.
Would it? You have a big family. You have a big family. I mean, party all the time. Everybody around, lots of kids.
Don't nobody want to see giants all their life, bro. Just trying to go to the park and just see giants.
What would you not want to come back as? I said, what would you not want to come back as? Like, absolutely.
What'd you say, Dre?
Do not bring me back if I got to come back
A pig?
like this.
A cat. I just don't
anything
like
in the ocean.
No dolphin or nothing,
Anything
bro?
in the ocean? What?
Orca?
Oh, the ocean seems like that shit peaceful.
Oh,
he afraid of
for
water.
real?
Nigga, y'all
afraid of water?
for this hell saying that y'all not scared of whales, bro.
No.
Like, bro, you not about to back me.
I only sat and thought
Anyway,
about it, though. Like,
no, we could.
What the whale did to you, KP?
Well,
What the whale
actually,
did
right
to you,
now they
bro?
are tripping.
They was
right
set
now.
tripping.
Yeah,
I
they
seen
tripping.
that. I seen that. They've been
Mm-hmm.
fucking rich people yachts and shit.
Y'all
They
keep
been
on thinking that these cats ain't out here
as they
wilding
should.
out. But they teaching it. They said one whale done taught a whole boatload of them motherfuckers how to sink ships and everything, bro. They ain't out here playing. And Dre out there in SeaWorld just
It's hurricane season. The answer.
They gonna be like, yeah, I remember this nigga. He was in San Diego with his family.
man,
I'm actually going to SeaWorld this weekend too. That's crazy.
Orca is one of my favorite animals, man. They dangerous as hell, though. They dangerous as hell. They had that movie. I don't know if y'all remember that. That movie about 40 years ago. It's old as hell. Where no, man, I'm talking about Orca.
Free Willy?
It's called Orca.
Talking about Free Willy?
And what had happened was the people had they were fishing and they had took the baby orca. And you know, they say that the whales have like memories. You know, they remember shit, just like you saying, KP, they remember. And yeah, so the male orca chased them all the way to Antarctica where they froze in the ice caps and then sunk the ship and then just let them drown. There's a whole movie about that. But I mean, so them whales, you do?
I would want to come back as an elephant. I would want to come back as an elephant.
What wouldn't you want to come back as, though?
A fly. I hate flies. Oh man,
I ain't even.
They only last for. They only have like 24-hour lifespan, don't they?
Oh.
I think that's what they said in Bug Life. I think they only live for like 24 hours or something like that.
But then if you believe in reincarnation, you know, that's just a placeholder.
Well, so I mean, flies are maggots before that.
True.
So I mean, how long do maggots? What's their lifespan?
I don't want to know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm straight on that. I ain't being on dead bodies and turds. I'm good. That's not the life I want for me.
Oh man,
never.
I don't want to be a pig, or I don't want to be a snake. That's the two. You said why not? You said
I'll be a snake.
I'll be a snake. Cause man, I just don't want to be like a bottom feeder. I don't want to be slithering on the ground, man. I just there's nothing about that I find exciting.
What if you?
I don't care. They still slithering on the ground. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. So.
Oh, okay.
If he's a water moccasin, then you swimming.
Yeah,
like, I would prefer to come back as an eagle or some shit, like an eagle or a hawk.
That's fire, Mitch. Like if I can fly, that's
not an anaconda, but
as long as it's not a fly or an insect. I'm not cool being no insect. But
I want to come back as an oppressor.
I can see that. You could be that right now, though. Honestly, you just got to change your dictionary. Matter of fact, I want to know where's the black man's dictionary? Because you said I was looking in the white man's dictionary.
Bruh. Anyway, hey, let's go ahead and wrap this up for us, Mitch. Go ahead and.
Nah, man, we still.
Is a lion an oppressor though? Would a lion be considered an oppressor in the jungle? What's the?
I hate that they be saying in the jungle too,
But I'm
because
saying like
lion
out
don't
of the
even live in the
animals. I'm
jungle.
just saying out of
That
animals.
should be
What
killing me.
animal is oppressing other animals?
They live in the safari and in the
Where's it
desert,
live, bro?
man. Grasslands.
They live in the safari, right?
Did you read?
You know it.
Did you read that in one of
And
those
watched it
white
on the
man's
white man's
books?
TV. And the white man's network. Disney said it too. Boy, you something else, man.
Hey, with that being said, man, we're gonna wrap this up, man. It's been another episode. Snapbacks and Fittedcaps. Niggas talked a lot about oppression, racism, reincarnation. It's been a lot. I'm over here just scratching my head. Like, this has been an interesting conversation. Been all over the place, but we'll see y'all next week, man. Hope y'all have a blessed weekend. We appreciate y'all subscribing. Please like and subscribe and comment. And just, we're going to try to keep these episodes coming. Peace.
Play the music.
These hating motherfuckers sit back and criticize and think it's constructive. All we do is just raise the budget, run it up. As long as the check clear when I get a bank to suffix.